I honestly forgot the intro. Do you remember it?
Yeah.
Oh, then you go ahead and do it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the intro music. Okay. Welcome to Pumpkin Guts, where we spill our guts over everything from horror to Halloween. I'm Janae.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Nick.
And
Coming from afar.
He is not here with us right now. He is in the nether regions.
Am I in the
upside
down?
Whoa. That might have something to do with what we're talking about today. Also, just so the audience is aware, this has been the biggest struggle to get this episode rolling.
I was very close to giving up.
Yeah.
My hot tea is now cold, but I'm still going to drink it.
Hey.
And I think we're good. Do I sound good?
You sound like you're remoting in.
Okay, well, deal with it.
You sound
people.
like you're trying to communicate with us through walkie-talkie from the upside down.
That was a great segue. I love that.
I got you.
Okay, so the cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows it. Stranger Things is coming to Halloween Horror Nights 32. I got it right this time.
You did.
I got it right. Thank you. I can hear them. I hear them in spirit. So we're going to talk about, honestly, we're going to talk about a little bit more than just Stranger Things tonight, because this is the third confirmed house, and we haven't been active long enough to really talk about the other two houses. So we're going to talk about the other houses in a sec, but first we're going to talk about frequent fear passes dropped, and there's a few little changes. It's kind of weird. And then Stranger Things. So let's just get the frequent fear passes out of the way. Let's knock that out first. Frequent fear passes dropped, and Janae and I also dropped our wallet today.
Nick, did you?
I didn't yet. I feel like I need to
mentally prepare
myself.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I might pull the trigger. We'll see what happens. We'll see how I'm feeling when I wake up.
So the reason I said they've changed a few things other than the price. So all the tickets seem to have gone up $100. So the pass that we get, the Frequent Fear Plus pass with Express, last year was $5.99 and this year is $6.99. And after taxes, it comes out to roughly $7.45, which, ouch. But the weird part is Universal is requiring that you select a start date for your pass. And it's very weird. It's not, I don't know if it's like a reservation. It kind of seems like a reservation, but my first instinct when I was checking out to get our tickets was that they were doing this in order to to limit the amount of people that are there that first weekend. So I don't know if it's going to be to where, like, if you wait longer to get your frequent fear, if you won't be able to select September 1st as the start date. That really is the only thing that makes sense to me as far as why they would do that.
Is it going to give them a better idea of the head count for the first night, I'm trying to think what is going to be beneficial to them from this.
I would see a lot of people who maybe won't come the first night still selecting the first night. I mean, that's the benefit of having the pass if you're within a reasonable driving distance to Halloween Horror Nights. And then it's if they do sell out for the first night and you go to buy that pass and you can't reserve it, do you get prorated a little bit? That's a big deal to miss opening night.
I have a feeling it has something to do with attendance levels on opening night. And if you're watching this and you know the reason, feel free to correct us, because I haven't done much research other than just checking out this morning, so I'm not sure what it's about. But yeah, if you know, please let us know. But my gut reaction to it is that it has something to do with attendance levels on opening weekend. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So, Nick might go to buy his ticket tomorrow and he can't reserve the first and he's going to cry.
I feel like you'll be okay, Nick.
Yeah, probably.
I did it hours after Ryan.
Yeah.
And I was okay.
Well, if that's the case, I will burn Utica to the ground.
That was an Office reference for anyone who doesn't know.
Shame if you don't.
But yes, so frequent fear passes are out, and we've got ours. We're ready. We're so ready.
We're looking at what? We're looking at one. This is not including the express pass. Starting at $179.99, $229.99, $269, and then $375.
Rush of Fear without express is $179.
I feel like that's $50 more.
Yeah.
So it sounds like
from HHN 30 because it was $130 when we went in.
Okay, so you said $169.
$179 is Rush of Fear.
Wow.
Yeah, so it is $50 more. So it's probably, if you get the express pass version, $50 more for the actual ticket, $50 more for express.
Which, our thoughts on the additional $100 for the way that I'm looking at it, they did add 4 more nights to Horror Nights this year. So it is going through November 4th, and that to me makes it worth the extra money because you do get 4 more nights and you do get to go a few more times after Halloween. So we will be attending the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We have something going on the 4th, so we won't be going that week or that Saturday. But we will still be attending because or the other days because we have them, and we want to make the most out of our pass. So, but that's not what we're here to really talk about. I just wanted to talk about it real quick because it is something that happened today. But the big mamma jamma, Stranger Things. Let's talk about it. How do we feel?
I'm actually very excited. Horror Nights would not be the experience it is for me if Stranger Things didn't first come to the event in 2018. Because that was the determining factor really back for attending the first time between me and my friend group. Because we didn't really go through many houses. We were really just there for Stranger Things and a couple others. A lot of us were new to HHN, didn't know how intense it would be. We had a lot of girls, so it was a little intense for some of those in the group. So Stranger Things was a great way to break into HHN, and I've gotten to see the iterations of the different seasons between the past 4 or over the past 4 years. So I'm excited. And I think this Stranger Things season 4 had more horror elements than any season previously.
Yes.
So it's not, I feel like instead of a fun house this year, it actually could be a scary house. And I'm excited for that.
It's definitely going to be a scary house.
It's still fun.
Yes.
It still will be fun, but I'm looking forward to seeing the different elements they incorporate that were more horror focused from season 4 into the actual house.
Nick, how do you feel, Mr. wearing a Vecna shirt?
I don't know if I'm a fan of the Vecna Stranger Things.
Yeah,
so
I don't think you are at all.
Comfortable here. I don't know which camera we're going to use. I had 2 rolling. I didn't get to experience the first 2 Stranger Things houses, so this makes me very happy. I'm very happy. Vecna has become one of my favorite villains of all time. I easily say that. So this is going to be a good house. This is going to be a good house. I'm super stoked for it. Well, I mean, Janae pretty much just said it all. This season was horror. This was a horror season of Stranger Things. I mean, sci-fi horror was kind of the theme of the first 3 seasons. It was still, I'm sure scary to the younger demographic, but this season scared the shit out of people. Like, I legit warned my family before they watched. I was like, listen, this isn't like Stranger Things 1, 2, and 3. This is
kind of spooky.
It's a little spooky, So that's why I'm stoked because, well, I mean, one of my favorite TV shows of all time and my favorite video game of all time, we're going to be there this year. So this is like, I mean, I couldn't be more excited.
Hey, Nick, do you think that you'll be turned on?
Come on, Nick. Spill your secrets.
Do we keep roll with this?
It's never stopping.
It's never.
Yeah, no, that's ingrained in Pumpkin Guts now.
Listen, guys, I'm turned on.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a fucking great season of Horror Nights. I'm fucking excited.
So, I'm a little. I don't want to say like less excited than you guys. Like I am genuinely very excited, and I think that this season more than any kind of lends itself to Halloween Horror Nights. And I think it's going to make for a truly fantastic house, but I don't know, for some reason, like the thought of Stranger Things at HHN doesn't excite me the way that it excites other people. Like I think it's awesome and I think it's cool, and I know I'm going to love the house because coming from a horror, fanatic, I genuinely think that Stranger Things season 4 is the best season of any television show ever. I think it's that good. I mean, you're basically every single episode is a movie. But I don't know, something about Stranger Things at Halloween Horror Nights. It's just it doesn't grip me as much as I feel it does other people.
Well, you suck.
Indeed, you suck.
Well, that's the show, guys. We're just gonna wrap it up here.
You'll appreciate it when all of the crowds flock there first.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to use your express pass on other houses right away.
Yeah.
So do we think? Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I was just gonna go into like we can segue this into the spec map, but the spec map shows that there's gonna be the soundstage where Chupacabra was.
So
it looks like
here's the
Halloween maybe.
Here's the thing about
the first year it was where Spirits of the Coven was.
Gotcha.
I can't remember.
Wasn't the second one where Monsters was, or the Weekend or something?
No, I think it was still toward the front of the park in the New York section. I could be wrong.
I have thoughts on this spec map. Most of which, like, here's what I think about the spec map. I don't think the locations on any of these are correct.
Probably not.
I could be completely wrong, but I don't know the way they have the spec maps set up. Like we've heard multiple times that The Last of Us is going to be in where the Weekend was last year.
Right.
And, on the HN Nightmare spec map, they have the entrance of The Last of Us where Descendants of Destruction was, and there is all that construction going on in the
DreamWorks.
The DreamWorks area over by ET. So you can't enter through there, but like the thought of entering by where by Men in Black for this devil went down to Georgia, entering there to like the Bugs, how Bugs was last year. The thought of entering Bugs like that, or entering this devil went down to Georgia one like that, and then entering The Last of Us, and then walking from Descendants all the way down, and then I don't even know how they're gonna manage the exit queue this year, but logistically, I'm very curious to see how this year plays out.
I think that's one of a lot of people's main concerns is like logistically the layout of everything. Like, how's it going to flow? How's it going to affect the lines?
They'd probably just redirect the exit queue back down the way you came in, past where Descendants of Destruction was, that ramp to Men in Black. When you look at it, the tent where Descendants of Destruction was and the Weekend didn't seem like that far of a distance.
No, it's not that far. It's just, it is a lot of walking backstage, and no matter what they do.
That exit queue last year sucked too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, no matter what you do, it's just gonna suck. trying to leave. But anyway,
are your feet gonna hurt?
Yes, very much.
Get over it.
How did we feel after opening night last year? How did our feet feel?
Deceased. They were no more. Before we get more into the spec map, let's keep on talking about Stranger Things. I have a question for both of you, and Janae, I'll start with you. What moment from Stranger Things season 4 are you most excited to potentially see in this haunted house?
All right, I have 2 answers. First would be Eddie on top of the trailer with a guitar shredding Master of Puppets.
Yes.
I hope that's incorporated in some capacity with the, what are they called, demobats?
Demobats, I think. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they'll be able to incorporate the demobats as chaotic as it was in the show. But I look forward to seeing if they recreate that scene, which I feel like they have to.
They 100% that will be in it.
And how they do it.
But what worries me is that they'll do the demobats the same way they did the Mind Flayer in the season 2 house, which was just a projection on
which they could.
Which that'll bum me out.
Or they could have, I don't know if it's animatronics or just even
still puppets.
Puppets or something hanging from the ceiling that at least you have wind on that blow around.
You know what they should do? They should get still figures of the demobats, attach them to a giant like carousel on the ceiling that just rotates like a fan, and just have them going around downtown.
I'm sure they already have it figured out, but that would be.
What's your second moment?
Okay, forgive me because I don't remember shows like you and Nick do. So I could be forgetting certain moments, or I may describe this wrong. But when Hopper was trying to escape from the Russian jail, I remember the alarms were going off. The creature had been released. Was it a demo?
It was a Demogorgon.
Demogorgon. The Demogorgon's out and about. It was just like very chaotic. You had the loud alarms going in the background. Hopper's not only trying to avoid the Demogorgon or be prepared to fight it, but he's also having to fight off the guards as they're coming as well. So that moment would be awesome to kind of walk through part of that prison area and run into Hopper.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I want to see Hopper fighting the Demogorgon. That's all I want.
I'm sure they will.
Well, I have my own answer for this question, but Nick, what about you?
I'm about to steal your answer, probably. The Janae's 2 should definitely be in it.
There's another one I forgot. Nick's about to say it.
Well, yeah, the 2 you said should definitely be in it. If they're not, I'll probably be disappointed. But the right answer is the Creel Mansion.
Yes,
I think the Creel
100%
should be the focus. It should definitely be the end of the maze.
You think it'll be the end? Or
no, the Creel Mansion is going to be the facade.
I think it's going to be.
That's what it should. Yeah, no, that's what it should be for sure. But I think the Creel Mansion without or in is it in Hawkins? It's in Hawkins.
Yeah, it's in Hawkins.
Yeah, but I'm saying that the actual Hawkins Creel Mansion should be the opening, the facade, and then
the upside down version should be.
That should be
the end of it.
That'd be a cool.
Yeah.
Cool
yeah, I'm excited to see Vecna like sprung up with all of his little tendrils and all that.
My gosh,
it's gonna be really cool.
The Creel Mansion should definitely be for sure. Yeah, I mean my other two answers are pretty much what Janae said. There's so much opportunity with this season that they could do. It's gonna be hard for them to miss, but it's also gonna be hard for them to hit all of them because there's so many. So
yeah.
What were you
gonna? In one way, we might. Go ahead.
What were you gonna say, Janae?
Oh, that Nick didn't.
Yeah.
Take. Like someone Max really needs to be levitating at some point in this
house.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I hope they're able to do Chrissy's scene and find a way to do like not only the levitating but the contorting and breaking and all that. Like it's so iconic to Stranger Things now that I really want to see that. But truthfully, neither of you actually said my answer, so I'm kind of happy about that.
Really?
The thing I am the most excited about is the sound design when it comes to the clock.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
That's
100%.
I want to hear that just booming.
Oh, it will be. I mean, they had that in the trailer.
It definitely will be.
Oh my!
I want that in the line cue.
That sound effect is one of the coolest horror sound effects I've heard in a long time. Like it just, I need to set that as my text tone.
I might steal that idea.
You better turn that off at night then.
I'm stealing that idea. It's mine now.
No, hey, we can share. So I'm gonna ask another question, and this can segue into us talking about the speculation map. So let's give a real quick answer with this question, then we'll move on to the speculation map. Do you guys think that this will be your favorite house of this year?
Stranger Things?
Yes.
Man, it depends on the originals, but it's gonna be one of these two. It's gonna be Stranger Things or Last of Us for me. If whichever one they do right, whichever one has the most scale and the most
like visually impressive.
Yeah, that's gonna be my favorite. I hate to get my expectations up too high, but the Oddfellow house I'm super excited for. If that's gonna be
don't get too far into all that because we'll talk about that in a second.
True.
Just
will one of these two be? Yes, probably, most likely.
I could see it being my favorite house. I hesitate solely because when Hill House was a house, I feel like it should have been my favorite house, but we only went through it one time that year, and the reason was we didn't have Express.
Yeah.
So that definitely won't be the case for us this year.
Correct.
And I don't know, I feel like every year I've had kind of an IP right near the top, so if it doesn't take first, it's probably going to be second.
Okay.
If there's anything comparable to Dead Man's Pier last year, I could see that taking the top, but it also has to be something I'm interested in.
Yes.
If it's one of the originals I'm not as excited about and I don't necessarily love the theming, then yeah, Stranger Things will take it.
You guys probably already know my answer. And if you have watched the rest of our videos, then you might know the answer I'm going to say as well. It will be shocking to me if an IP ever takes my top house.
But where did Halloween rank in your rank for last year?
It wasn't close to the top.
Really?
I mean it was in the top 5, and truthfully it was my favorite IP house last year, but the originals just, like Dead Man's Pier. Obviously, I love Festival Fiesta de Chupacabras, but again last year, and I love Spirits of the Coven. But last year, a lot of the originals felt kind of samey to me. So last year wasn't as strong as previous years. Like for me, the gold standard of originals will always be HHN 30. I think the originals that year were just insanely good and insanely diverse. And I feel like we're going to get another lineup of, like, if the spec map is correct, it will be a very diverse cast of original houses. And that's what has me the most excited for this year. So with that, let's transition and start talking about some of these other houses. Now, we'll start with the ones that we have confirmed, because they're the ones we know are coming, so we can talk a little bit more in depth about those. Let's start with Chucky because that's going to be the shorter of the two. And I'll give my quick thoughts on Chucky. I love the entire Chucky franchise, the entire Chucky series. Janae and I have both watched the Chucky TV show, both seasons. We love it. We think it's great. And I think we mentioned this before. We just want Chucky's Insult Emporium, and then I'll be happy. I don't have too much else to say about it other than that.
if Chucky, as far as like most anticipated houses on the spec map right now, it's probably towards the bottom for me, which I think in turn makes that it might be a sleeper house for me. I might actually end up enjoying it more than I'm expecting to, which happens
if it's in if the spec map is correct and it's in the Fast and Furious location, then I'm a little bit more worried.
Yeah, I mean they could do. I think someone might have been Brian and Steph talking about this. It probably was, but since that location is divided up into 2 parts, they could do season 1 and season 2,
and they probably will. Quite honestly,
but see. In that case, I wish it wasn't necessarily broken up. I don't need that transition.
Correct.
Do something more creative as a transition instead of, okay, you survived season 1, you're going to walk through a boring hallway.
Yeah.
To get to season 2.
Not even a hallway. You walk outside and, I don't want it to feel like an HHN Hollywood house, because that's kind of the vibe that I got from Blumhouse last year. Janae, your thoughts on Chucky?
I'm excited for it. Do I think it's going to come in my top 5? That really just depends on what happens with the originals and the rest of the announcements that we get. But I think I'll enjoy it.
But the real question is, will it turn Nick on?
It won't.
That's kind of the question. But yeah, I mean,
that's the question.
He said it's going to be the bottom.
Yeah, that's the question. Okay, let's move on to the one that of everything that's been announced, I'm probably
one last thing on Chucky.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I feel like when it comes to the sets, they could be rather basic.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to the series. Like the gore moments, sure, those will be captured, and I'm sure they will look good. Like if the mom gets thrown on the car and comes through the windshield, that could be a pretty cool thing to interact with in the house. But in some of those like hallway scenes and different stuff like that, I just don't see it being as detailed as other houses, not having as much to look at.
If they go that direction, then I want the kills in the house to be like extremely gory, because like I think it's the spoilers for Chucky. If you haven't seen the show, we're going to talk about it. You've been warned. There's a moment it's either the beginning or the end of season 1 or the beginning of season 2 where Chucky takes a chainsaw and cuts this woman completely in half, and it like there's just blood just going everywhere, and it's Chucky's laughing maniacally as he's doing it, and like that's Chucky. We need that in the house. So I
think the house might provide some like comic relief too, which is kind of fun. Like it won't be. I think all the other houses will be, spooky and visually entertaining. But Chucky might have like some comic relief where it's actually like more of like a fun house,
Correct.
which I think might be cool. Which might be kind of like a relief to go into that house.
Having watched the show, it will not be a scary house. It will be the fun house of the year, because like the show does not try to be scary. The show tries to be more dramatic and a comedy. So Correct. Like don't go into it expecting it to be scary. But let's talk about the one that we're all pretty excited for, and I think Nick is the most excited for. I think this is going to be the one this year that turns him on.
New YouTube series. Turn Nick on.
The Last of Us. Now, I think that this house, just from a scale aspect alone, I think this house is going to be absolutely breathtaking. And I also feel like it is going to be absolutely terrifying. There's a lot they can do with atmosphere in this house in particular that I really want to see them take full advantage of. And like just don't drop the ball on this one, because if done right, if executed correctly, it could be one of the best houses.
I really hope, and I truly believe.
Was that your roommate?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, probably.
I just heard, oh!
Oh, yeah, they're gaming. Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I was gonna say whoever is in charge of this house, I assume and I hope that they are game players, so they are fully aware of the atmosphere and the noises and the scoring and all the above that goes into the what makes the game so great. So I have high hopes for it. I think that they'll use the sound of the clickers around you, and I have pretty high hopes for it. So.
That's the one thing that I'm a little worried about is, Horror Nights is just jump scares. Like that's all Horror Nights is. And that's the reason why The Last of Us worries me a little bit, because in the game, I mean, there are so many moments where like you have to be dead silent and, maneuver through clickers, and like you can't do that with HHN.
That's your favorite part of the game.
No, it's not. It pisses me off. So, context, I played about 30% of the game when it came out in 2013, and I was like, you know what? Okay, it's coming to HHN. I'm going to buy the remaster and play through it all. And it has just made me so angry. Just so angry.
It's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch, except if you're me. But you know what I mean? Like, you have the conga line, you have tons of sound and tons of people talking and screaming. It's, for me, especially the way that I like to approach haunted houses is I prefer atmosphere over jump scares. And that atmosphere of like pure tension, trying not to like alert a clicker that you're there. That to me is what I would want from a Last of Us house, and I know we're not going to get that.
Yeah, I think the scale.
Maybe they'll do something different.
It like stagger the line.
I don't even know if you need to stagger the line or if you just have multiple Joel and Ellies kind of like go through this rotating path where they kind of jump in line and guide you. No, I'm just brainstorming here.
But like that, you need to be isolated. Like you need to be by yourself. Because if you're not, then you're just going to hear the people in front of you screaming, the people behind you screaming, and like the isolation is the key to The Last of Us. That's what makes it so scary. It's just Joel and Ellie on their own, and like taking that away from it.
They're probably not gonna.
Yeah.
I want to see a bloater explode through the wall.
Favorite.
Yes, it will.
No matter what.
But yeah. I want to see a bloater explode through the wall like the fucking cool.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Just bursting on through, and then he says, "Oh yeah."
How they reset that for every scare, I don't know, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I want this house, because I've been in haunted houses where they have played with pure silence, and it is the scariest a haunted house could possibly be. Like, HHN is very in your face and very loud, but for me, some of the scariest haunted houses I've been through are the opposite. They're very quiet, and that it creeps you out a million times more. So, that's the thing that I want from The Last of Us, but I don't think we'll get. But regardless, I am still very, very excited for this house.
I guess you're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Right.
How many days away are we, Nick? I know you're doing 50. The countdown.
50.
50 days away. That's insane.
50 days away.
That is insane. Well, all right. Nick, you have anything else to add about The Last of Us?
No, I think we kind of covered it. Let's move on to whatever you want to next. You want to do original? Looks like
yeah. So let's start up front and work our way around. So we have this forest and slashes and
the original thoughts was werewolves. I know people were saying werewolves, but
werewolves would be cool. Like I don't know what to make of this, truthfully. Like it feels like it's gonna be something like in the woods, which I
think that's cool.
You and I are big suckers for stuff in the woods. Like
this was multiple. I'm Brian and Steph were talking about this one too, because Slaughter Cinema had a was it a swapped Yeti
yes.
film? And so that's the other thought about this one. It might be swapped Yeti, which sounds it could be cool. I mean, Steph was saying how that was probably the weakest film in the Slaughter Cinema what do you want to call it, universe. Right. It was probably their release there, but it could be cool. It's if they make the environment correct with trees and in the woods.
This is probably me just like over analyzing, but like when I think of swamp, I don't think of like evergreen trees.
That's true. It looks like Christmas trees.
Yeah, I could be totally off base there, but like I don't know. Like when I look at that, I immediately think like Wendigo, and if they had a Wendigo, I would be so stoked. That would be so cool.
I do like the idea of having woods and
yes,
yeah, I like that too.
If they do that with enough scale, because it looks like, well, who knows if it's actually going to be in a soundstage or not, but if it is, we're able to actually like, and filter in moonlight from above.
Yes.
That could be awesome.
Like I like the idea of going through a house, and especially like you're saying with scale, where you're not walking through walls. Like the walls are the trees. And like seriously, imagine a house like that where the entire thing is wide open, but it's so densely like covered in trees that but you can still see things that are happening like, like farther on in the house, but you're not quite there yet. Whatever it is, it's like I said, the originals are really sounding awesome this year. So this
spec map is stacked. I'm just gonna say that it's absolutely stacked. I think this is insane. If this all comes true, I mean, I have only been to a number of you. This could be like an
all-timer.
It really could. It's got potential to be one of the best of all time.
There's no wicked growth, so I'm out. Sorry, it's not.
Not even going this year.
I know the next most anticipated announcement is Monsters, but do we think the other kid from the original Last of Us announcement who was walking in the woods is going to be the announcement for that house?
Oh, that's a different thought. I like that.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. So
yeah,
I originally thought that was going to be the Stranger Things. I thought he was going to be the one because it was outside. He had headphones on.
Right.
I thought he was going to get lifted by Vecna.
Yeah, that would. Okay, that would be on it. I would be so down for that if they did an original video, like. You might be onto something there.
What else would it be? It's either Monsters or what's coming up next. We're probably gonna talk about is Exorcist.
I feel like they'd be a little more obvious if you were in Paris, if they were gonna do Monsters, and it is going to be a Paris house.
Right.
I don't. Because like when you look at this spec map, nothing else screams school, except for Stranger Things.
Right.
So we should have known all along. If Stranger Things was coming, that girl was going to be our character for the Stranger Things announcement.
I've worked with that girl before. Shot a few commercials with that girl.
Small world.
Yeah.
Yeah, she stopped us in Target.
She did stop us in Target. Yeah. And I was so taken aback because we're just walking around in Target, and then she's like, "Hey!" And I'm like, "Wait, I recognize you, but I can't remember where from." And then then when the Stranger Things trailer dropped, I was more shocked to see her in it than I was that Stranger Things is coming. Janae, you have anything to add to this first one?
I wouldn't mind seeing the Swamp Yeti idea from Slaughter Cinema come to life. I think that would be cool.
Right.
I always think it's cool when they bring back different chapters from previous houses and let it have its own house and its own full storyline. So I'm more on board with that train. Werewolf would be cool too. I don't know when the last time they did a werewolf house was, other than Wolfman being incorporated in Monsters last year. So I'm
American Werewolf in London is probably the last time they did something.
But what year was that?
I don't know. All right, well let's move on to The Exorcist.
I mean, the question is
it Exorcist Believer or the original?
Or the OG? I know we want to see the OG.
Truthfully, I don't want to see the OG. No, because I mean, think about the Exorcist movie, and if you look back at past Exorcist houses, like he's just walking through the same room over and over.
So I haven't been in an Exorcist house, so that's probably why I want to see the OGs, because I do want to.
Neither have I, but that doesn't scream terrifying to me. Like to me, if it is the original Exorcist, that is kind of a waste of an IP to me.
It'll probably be the new one. It probably. I mean, I feel like it's got to be.
That's the one that I'm the most confused about. Like I can't get a grasp on whether or not.
Haven't they done an Exorcist house before?
Yeah. And it's just like I've only really seen the videos of the one in Hollywood, so that's all I'm speaking towards.
It was in Hollywood last year, I believe. Was it not?
Yeah, I think so. And like the Hollywood Exorcist house that I've seen has always just been, all right, we're gonna walk through Reagan's room, and now we're gonna walk through Reagan's room again, but a different scene. And now, get this,
we're gonna walk through Reagan's room.
We're gonna walk through Reagan's room. So like The Exorcist has never felt like a great haunted house idea to me, but that's just little old me.
I'm still holding on hope that Exorcist is not happening and Evil Dead Rise is happening.
I am in that exact same boat. It is definitely not going to pan out the way we want it to, but we could dream.
Or maybe it's an original.
I would die if it was an original. If we had an extra original, I would be very happy, because we had 6 originals at HHN 30, and that to me, sweet spot. You get your 4 IPs, you get your 4 headliners, and then just leave the rest of them to me.
If Hollywood gets Evil Dead Rise and we don't,
I can't see them doing that.
I will be green with jealous rage.
Well, okay, actually, I can see them doing that, and the only reason is because they have the sets from the hotel last year, which, again, I've said this a million times. If you go back, if you've seen Evil Dead Rise and you go back and look at the hotel hell or horror hotel or whatever the hell it was called, and that was there last year, they are the sets from Evil Dead Rise, like tooth and nail, 100%. They are no doubt the sets from Evil Dead Rise. So if it was me making the decision to recycle, yes, I would 100% do it. But as far as us, I'm a little bit more skeptical.
I don't think we're gonna get it, but God damn it, I hope we do.
I know.
I mean,
we all do, bud.
The Exorcist, it does feel kind of random. I mean, it is coming out October 13th or something like that. So it makes some sense, but
what drives me crazy, if it is Exorcist Believer, is that, like, okay, it's coming out in October, so by the time HHN starts,
after,
yeah. So, go with the one that people want to see a house of more. Make it a Five Nights at Freddy's house. I want to see that more than anything.
They would have had to schedule the release for Five Nights at Freddy's, though, in early September.
But that's what I'm saying, because Exorcist doesn't come out until midway through October. So if this is Exorcist Believer, then, again, waste of an IP, because Five Nights at Freddy's would have been much better suited for a haunted house.
Freddy's doesn't come out until October 20-something.
Yeah, but the concept I'm saying is the same, It will still come out a month after HHN starts, and that's why I think it is going to be the original, which, again, I feel like with this house, there's no winning. For me, there's no winning.
Unless it's Evil Dead.
Unless it is Evil Dead. Or, get this,
I mean, 'cause
Leota Dead Rise.
Or Minions.
Minions house confirmed. Let's do it.
Minions house confirmed.
It is not far from Minions Land.
That's true.
It's true.
It would have to switch locations, I feel.
Did you see that team member previews are beginning for VillainCon?
I did. I saw the walls were down, too.
Walls are down. VillainCon's, it's almost there. All right.
Yeah, I want to watch the movie and then go in the house. I don't want to go in the house and then see the movie a month later.
I agree.
Well, and then you're going to have to spoil stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly.
That's not really
Which,
fun.
Again, is why I think it's going to be the original. So there's a good possibility that The Exorcist ends up being my Blumhouse of the year. So
look who showed up.
It's Bubba. Is she on the camera?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, Leota, you have made your debut. Oh wait, no, you were in the first video. Look at you, little doggy. All right, let's move on to the next house, which, truthfully, I don't have too much to say about this, because...
What if it's a sequel to Spirits of the Coven?
here's the only way I get on board with this.
Well, it has the pentagram.
It seems like a witches in Salem kind of house. It does seem like it would be weird for them to do that 2 years in a row. But here's my big brain juice. Okay, strap in. All right,
let them cook.
Because if they do it like this, then I will be so happy. I want this house to be, if it is this Witches in Salem, I want this house to be a sequel to Spirits of the Coven and a prequel to The Wicked Growth. Like,
at that point, wouldn't it just become The Conjuring of the Dark House?
Well, Conjure the Dark took place at like the beginning of time. Like Conjure the Dark was like old in the first Halloween. I just think it would be very cool to continue that storyline, because I think that, you know, there are a lot of people, including moi, who do really like that story. And I think the second most interesting character from The Wicked Growth is Grimalkin, and I want to know more about the witch. And Grimalkin is the witch, for those of you who don't know. And I just want to see more. I want to know more about that story. I like, because that's what I thought that Spirits of the Coven was going to be when, you know, last year they were speculating a witch house. I thought it was going to be like a house based solely around Grimalkin, and I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't. So it's your chance to redeem yourselves, HHN. Do it.
Do it.
You have anything to say?
I hope your idea becomes a reality for you, for your sake.
I hope all of your dreams come true.
Nick?
I mean, obviously it looks like witches. I doubt they'll do another witch house. I would like to see them do a witch house, right? Because like I think what we talked about in last episode was the Coven was my most anticipated house last year. I still liked it, but it kind of disappointed in a few ways. So I would like to see them do it with a little more scale and storyline, but I don't think that's the case.
Right.
People are talking about banshees coming back, but does that apply to the pentagram? I mean, I guess.
Yeah, it being on the last two spec maps makes me think that it probably is happening, but I can't really get a feel for what it's going to be, or if it's going to be interesting at all. I just hope
so
my
you'll be
idea
pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, or Wicked Growth too.
Or Minions. Just saying.
All right, we're gonna skip over Stranger Things because we talked about that at the start of the episode, and there has been a lot of rumors about this next house, and if these rumors are correct, I'm gonna be one happy boy.
Lots of people are, including me.
Yeah. Classic Islands of Adventure brought to Halloween Horror Nights sounds like a dream come true. The rumor is that this will be a dueling dragons house, and if they were ever going to do a medieval house, like, this is it. This is
yeah, I mean, dueling dragons, please, yes, please.
Like,
if they go ahead.
I mean, just imagine if the dragons were puppets and they had these giant dragon heads above you, like duking it out. Oh, it sounds so cool.
Some rooms could be ice themed. Some rooms could be fire themed. Imagine if they had like medieval knights being burned alive.
If that is what this is, then it is a contender for my top house. Like, I really think that if it is dueling dragons and they do all the things I want them to do, it will be my favorite house this year. Which is weird because I'm not a medieval fan. Like, I don't like medieval stuff too often.
Ryan doesn't like Game of Thrones. Audience, shame him for it. Write shame in the comments. Spam shame.
It's just my opinion. I've kind of actually narrowed it down because I don't know why I was thinking about this, but when it comes to medieval stuff, the more fantastical and whimsical medieval stuff is, the more I like it. So if it's like super dark and super gritty, and super realistic, like Game of Thrones is, it ain't my thing.
Game of Thrones super realistic.
Looks like she's trying to be the cameraman.
But that's my take on medieval stuff. But
so you're saying if Game of Thrones had like dragons or ice zombies, then maybe you'd like it?
It's for me, dude, it's the color palette. It's so gray and boring and ugly to look at. I don't like it. If it's medieval, I want color. I want like
I just like that you use Game of Thrones and realistic in the same sentence. I mean that
like you know what I mean. Like
I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, I know. I hate you.
I'm just tugging your nuts.
So, I mean, Janae, what do you think about this?
I feel like I don't know too much about dueling dragons back in Islands of Adventure because the only time I had experienced it was when it transitioned into the Harry Potter land.
Right.
So, I'm excited. Medieval time stuff really isn't my thing either, but I'm going to go into it with an open mind. And if there are dragons, I do think dragons are pretty cool, so.
This has nothing to do with anything, but did you know the original name of Army of Darkness was Medieval Dead?
Wow.
Yeah. And they made them change the name.
You told me this like 3 weeks ago, so I did know this.
Dumb. Anyway, Nick, any final thoughts on dragons?
No, I hope it happens. That's all.
All right, moving on to my most anticipated house of the year. Obviously not confirmed yet, but it has been pretty much all but confirmed. Dr. Oddfellow. Oddfellow's Circus. This I am the most excited for because it really ties back into the lore of HHN and Jack the Clown, and I'm a big sucker for anything Jack the Clown related. So for me, this house, and one of the most common themes of haunted houses is circuses, and I've never gotten to experience an HHN circus, so the thought of that sounds freaking awesome to me. So I'm hoping this happens. I can't wait. The only thing that I'm a little hesitant on is by the looks of it. I truly can't get oh, you know what? Maybe the Devil Went Down to Georgia one would be in Descendants of Destruction, and then Oddfellows would be in where Bugs was. And that location is the location of my favorite house of all time, so I'm not too worried about scale or anything.
It would be really cool if they actually made the tent like a circus tent.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
A giant circus tent.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
They should.
Or lends itself to it.
Or they
take
make
down
it
the sprung tent entirely, and it's just a carnival tent.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't withstand hurricane.
Wicked Growth too.
No.
Yes.
Your dreams for that will never. No, I'm not gonna.
They will come true.
They will come true. 10 years from now.
10 years? I can't wait that long. They're gonna price me out before then. Nick, I mean, how do you feel about Oddfellow?
It's by far my most anticipated house, other than Stranger and Last. I think it's gonna be incredible. I love the lore. They gotta bring. That means they gotta bring back Jack, which everyone would love.
Yeah, if they don't, I'll be upset.
Yeah, I'll be upset if Jack isn't
I would love to see the feud between them two as a storyline throughout the house, something along those lines.
If they're gonna announce an original with a video, I hope it's Oddfellow.
I think this one has potential to be the house of the year.
Yeah.
If it comes true, which I think, like you said, it's pretty much all but confirmed. This one has been. I mean, Oddfellow has been kind of all over the place as far as speculation, rumors. It's been on the actual website at one point, the name Oddfellow. So I think it's gonna happen. It's probably my most anticipated house, other than, like I said, Stranger Things and Last of Us. So
okay.
yeah, I'm super stoked for that one.
Anything else to add?
Well, you didn't even let me talk about mine.
That's why I turned to you, dude.
Well, you're like, anything else to add? Not what are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts?
Like, you're rushing me through this. I was excited when I found out, first heard that Oddfellow could be coming this year. I didn't really know too much about the character Oddfellow, but Jack probably is my favorite icon.
Yeah.
And the thought of him coming back just excites me. I can't wait to see what they do. I am a big fan of origin stories as well, so I'd love to see how he got to the clown that we all know and love. So I am excited. This is the one house I feel could possibly beat out Stranger Things for me this year.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I know there are some people who are, more on the fence about Jack coming back, and I don't get it, but more power to you. I personally would, if he was there every year, I wouldn't care. That'd be awesome. All right, this is the house that I don't think we need to spend too much time on, because I don't really think either or any of us have much interest, unless you guys prove me wrong here. But Devil Went Down to Georgia is kind of like the loose theme that I've been hearing about this one. Could be cool. It's different. I'll say that.
Are they picking this because of The Weeknd last year? Like, are they trying to stick to a musical theme?
I don't think so.
Because that is a song.
I don't know. It could either.
This one feels the most random to me.
Yeah, I agree.
It just feels random.
I think it could be really cool.
It definitely could be. I mean, it could be a sleeper. We could. That's It's all about anticipation and expectations. Like, if we go into it thinking it's gonna suck, and then it's actually pretty good, that's awesome. I love that.
Right.
None of them are gonna suck, and I don't think. I mean, but this one may have. It may be a sleeper pick for a good house. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I just don't know anything about it. I'm curious. I'll just say that.
Okay. Nick is curious. He's curious to see if he gets turned on.
Like a kitten.
Definitely not something I'll be running to see first.
I have a feeling that it will end up being the house we go through last.
It could be.
And we'll probably only go in when the line queues are low.
We have Express Pass, my dude. We can go whenever.
Well, still, I mean.
All right. Let's skip over The Last of Us. We already talked about that. Universal Monsters Paris. What are we thinking, Janae?
I'm excited for that. I feel like they're sticking to the theme where they had the Legends collide last year, and there's going to be multiple monsters in this house. You think of Paris, you think of Hunchback of Notre Dame, you think of Phantom.
Yeah.
So I do think there will be
if it's
some
Phantom
matchups.
If it's Phantom and Hunchback, I'll be okay with that, because those are two that we haven't seen in houses before. And I think they both appeared in the first Universal Monsters house, but it was brief. And, being able to showcase these lesser known monsters, I think would be really cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call Quasimodo. Is he referred to that in Universal?
Truly, I don't know. I've never seen the movie.
I don't know that the Hunchback is that scary. I will say that.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see. I mean, but the Phantom's also not that scary looking.
Well, I'm interested to see which version of Phantom that they go with, because Universal does have two Phantoms. So there's the original 1925 Phantom, and then there is the Phantom that. Forgive me if I'm butchering this, but I believe the voice of the Invisible Man played Phantom in a later color remake, and it is considered part of the the Universal Classic Monsters lineup. So I'm curious which version they go through with, because I personally think the original version is far scarier looking. Looks like an actual monster, but we'll just have to wait and see, because we don't even know if he's going to be in the house.
It's true. I think this house could be really cool set wise.
Yes.
And could be comparable to the scale we saw in Dead Man's Pier.
I agree.
If they have like
the cathedrals,
full tower where you can see it, kind of like the White House at different points, that'd be really cool.
Nick, how about you?
I think this is going to be another solid house like Monsters was last year. Something that we're always looking forward to. Something that will always be
gunning for.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be a solid house. Phantom would be really cool. It'd be unique. It'd be different. I'm excited for that reason. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's gonna be solid. I think it's gonna be fun. I think the scale's gonna be good. Yeah, I mean, until we hear more or we get the announcement, I don't know what else I can say. I'm excited about that one for sure.
All right, so I mean that's all the houses. Let's briefly run through the scare zones. I'm just gonna kind of group these all together real quick, and so we're not wasting too much time talking about them. I think so. We've got Vamp 69. These symbols have been, people are saying those are zodiac signs. Then we've got these 2 horns and jungle. Now, you might notice that these are only 4 scare zones, and that is very troubling to me.
It is, but the only thing I can say that may make us feel better is that the website still says 5 scare zones.
Yes, and that's the only saving grace. So I'm more inclined to believe Horror Nights' actual website saying 5 scare zones than I am the HN Nightmares map only saying 5 scare zones. So
I mean, what would be... I know there's new construction, minions. Would that really stop them from making a scare zone?
No, and the walls are down
at the opening of the park.
And it didn't stop them last year. The walls were up last year, and we still had the Horrors of Halloween. So
you got to have the iconic.
Well, I think they will, and I think, with Carnival of Oddities Horde being listed right at the front of the park, if Oddfellow truly is the icon this year, I think the initial scare zone will correlate to that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. As far as these other scare zones go, I gotta say I'm not really looking forward to any of them.
Yeah, if it's Dark Zodiacs and Krampus, I'm not looking forward to either one of those. I don't want to see Christmas. I'm tired of Krampus. I don't want a Krampus house. I don't want a Krampus scare zone.
It's Halloween. It shouldn't be Christmas.
I don't want another holiday. I love Krampus, but I don't want him in Dark Zodiac. It could be cool, but that space in New York, I think there's potential for you just do so much cool stuff, and that's not something I'd be excited for. Jungle, it's probably going to be something more specific than that. They're probably just speculating that it's going to be jungle themed in general, so who knows about that one. And then Vamp, everyone knows Vamp, so
Yeah, I mean nothing's really jumping out at me, and here's the problem logistic wise that I see them running into, which I think we all thought would be addressed by this, but typically the favorite scare zone is put in New York, and this time they're putting the favorite scare zone in Hollywood. And the problem last year was there were so many people in the New York area for houses, the scare zone, and the tribute store. And I was thinking, okay, well, now the tribute store is over in Hollywood, but now you have the Vamp 69 scare zone in Hollywood. And I just don't think that's a good idea. I think, you want to try to alleviate as much pressure off of the tribute store as possible, especially because that location is so small. And logistically, this year could be a nightmare, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that they know what they're doing.
the scare zones are definitely underwhelming right now, in comparison to the houses.
I 100% agree. I mean, Janae, what do you think?
I never get excited for scare zones, if I'm being honest. Like,
just skip on through there.
I liked Sweet's Revenge last year. That's probably my favorite scare zone I've ever seen. But for me, I don't go to Universal for the scare zones. I go for the houses. Scare zones are an added bonus. If they're good, they get my attention. If they're not, I try to walk through them as quickly as possible to avoid all the people standing around.
Right.
So.
And then we have the Megan Horde, and you know,
I asked to, I shall receive. I wanted it.
You wanted it.
And
I feel even like hordes are even lower in my opinion than the.
I like chainsaw hordes, but like, is Megan just going to be crawling on all fours or dancing her way? I don't know.
I was referring to for me. I was referring to Death Eaters that I wanted. By the way, I know you. I know you guys probably aware of that, but Megan, I could care less about. But whatever. That's if it's a horde,
you
cool.
Like Megan.
Yeah, that's why
I wanted Death Eaters.
That's why when we met Megan at Spook Alley, you were in the bathroom.
I think I was buying a pop.
My thing with the Death Eaters is, why does it have to be during horror nights? I'm not opposed to it being there during horror nights, but why don't we see them out more often in the regular parks?
My thing with Death Eaters is I don't think it's going to happen. That's the of all the things on the spec map, that is the thing that has jumped out to me the most. I know they do it in Hollywood, but I don't know. You know, to me, the Death Eaters go along with the Dark Arts show in Islands of Adventure on the castle. So bringing the Death Eaters over here kind of defeats the purpose of having that show and like the Dark Arts kind of theme in Islands. So unless they do it in both lands, which I don't think that they would do, like
but you have Nocturne Alley in Diagon Alley area.
Yeah,
so
but the thing that people like about the Death Eaters is that they have wands that they shoot fireworks out of. So if they're in Nocturne Alley, they can't do that. They shoot little green fireworks out.
I know, but
I don't know. I don't think, like, I hope I'm wrong. I think it would be cool, but I don't see why they would add that. To me, of all the things on the map, I think that's the least likely.
And I feel like even if it does happen, Ryan will never go see it.
No, I'll go see it, just not on opening night. I don't care about it that much.
I mean, it can only help crowd control. So that's why I hope it's there, because people will filter through Diagon Alley. So
I don't think it's a big enough draw. I don't think that.
I mean, it will be a massive difference, but it'll help. It won't hurt.
I know it sounds like I'm just hating on Harry Potter right now. I am a Harry Potter fan, but you're just
jealous.
Of what?
You're jealous you weren't invited to be part of the Death Eater horde. I'm
fine with that. Because I don't want to take away from I want to be out here, not back there. Yeah, and then we've also got 2 shows. Vamp show, which
to me that looks like it's just gonna be like a nighttime show of the Mel's Diner thing they have going on during the day because of the location.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see
dancing vampires potentially,
which would track with the vamp scare zones. And then obviously Nightmare Fuel. I mean, I don't really think we need to say much about that.
Yeah, I just hope it's a little bit different this year.
Yeah, I think we kind of exhausted our thoughts on Nightmare Fuel last time. We all hope it's just
slightly better.
Yeah, slightly better.
All right, well, that's the spec map. That's what's happening. We're all, Nick's not yet, but Janae and I are both $745 lighter. Thanks, Universal. It's very cool of you. Yeah, but I think this is going to be a really great year. I'm super excited to see hopefully all of these, except for Exorcist, come into fruition.
Way to call them out like that. Jeez.
Well, if you need my thoughts again on Exorcist, just go back and listen to all my points, because I don't feel like repeating them. But I feel like this, house-wise, this year could top 31. I don't think it'll top 30 for me, but it definitely is a contender for one of the best years I've been.
I don't know that it can top 31 for me. We'll see. I have hopes.
I mean, Stranger Things season 4 and Last of Us for me already tops last year's. Yeah, I'm excited.
I knew that you were kind of.
Yeah, that's like two of the most ideal houses that I could have possibly asked for.
Yeah, for sure.
And what happens if one of them sucks?
Then I will cry. Also, Stranger Things merch is out. If you want to go check it out it's been, it's all over the internet now, so check it out. It looks cool. I'm not gonna buy either the shirt or the hat, but it's okay. I mean, I like the black and the red, but
not my cup of tea, not my thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
That's all you'll say about it.
That's all I'll say about it. All right, well, that's gonna wrap up this episode of The Last of Us.
Wow.
God, my brain is so fried right now. That's gonna wrap up this episode of the. Why do I say the?
Pumpkin Guts.
That's the one. We hope that you have enjoyed. We've listened to us, listened to the hooligans and the hooligang.
I knew you were going to say it.
Y'all thought I forgot, but I didn't. I never forget.
I forgot.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Yeah. Follow us on Instagram at Pumpkin Guts Show. Nick's showing off his spooky... Is that Jack Nicholson?
Of course.
It is indeed.
That's pretty cool. All right, until next time. See you.
Bye.